funny. It's like we've got like a dozen people in the chat room, and it says number of viewing is 2. Real-time updates. Oh, it's jumped up to 21. They heard me.
We're suing. We are going to sue YouTube. That is the next piece. So you guys better start treating us right.
Oh, I think it's so funny. It's like we're doing all this great content. People are excited about it. I get contacted for every which way about it, and we're just still only getting it's like the amount of people exiting subscriptions equals the amount coming in. So how is that even possible? That's right. I guess we can cut it here. We're already talking over it. So hello everyone, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with
Tank. Good evening.
And we're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, and the Illuminadonkeys, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons, and they are losing, and they're losing badly. It's where I'm amazed that I've been joking around with Tank just before getting on the air about speaking truth to power, because I got caught up in a website that's called Earth Dollar, and how they said that it's all for humanitarian purposes, and all of the world's assets, underground assets, and in the air and in the water, are now pledged to the Earth Dollar. And that's how they're going to provide universal basic income and all of these other end hunger and all the rest of those things that the UN has been doing from the very beginning since they were formed to end poverty and all the rest. And they are so successful at their tasks, and their plan to eliminate poverty by eliminating the world's population is going so well.
Yeah, it's a big it's an interesting situation, to say the least. So what's on your mind tonight, Dan? I mean, I know we were talking about more stuff. I know you're taking a lot of action there.
Well, yeah, I'm busily designing a new way of providing a way to reach the poor through cryptocurrency. So forgive me those out there that are so set against it. For me, it's a tool just to use to do a job. It's an accounting system. That's all it is. You can call it a blockchain if you don't like it. Call it a distributive ledger, whatever you want to call it. It's just a technology. And to use this to reach the poor in a way that I have created a sustainable system that is going to allow for the people that are participating, and they can join for free, and they can participate just by logging in, and they'll make just a little bit for just participation, and if they do other things, they'll be able to earn some more, generate more coin that they can immediately convert into something that is spendable, and even go out to a debit card. And will be insured by Lloyd's of London and and other things. I won't get into the rest of it. So this is it's a great system. It's all come together in a way that all the pieces that I've been working on. Actually, a funny thing is like several projects that I was working on. One was with the to develop a coin for a group that was going to create products, and their products. So this is going to fund their development of products. And let's say it's even a solar farm, for example. Whatever you want to say, a battery technology or whatever product they want to put out. All of the products would be purchased with this coin, and the profit would go back into the coin itself and sit there to back the actual coin itself, so that there's always money there to exchange out to other coins into the marketplace. So that system the basic structure of it allows for a system to be self-funding. So taking this to the next level, is something. So anyway, I just saw the stuff that's going on with the Earth dollar. It was placed there. The video came to me by way of a comment on one of the videos I just posted for a cloud token, and they're talking about the Iron Mountain report. And I said, oh, in the video, and led into the Earth dollar being the cabal's new way that they were going to basically take the world asset and make it, into their own, new economic model under Earth dollar. So whether it's Libra with Facebook or Earth dollar, the plan is always the same, right? So they're going to control everything from a central place, and take control over everything. So anyway, I'm just excited about all the tools coming together, and being able to apply these things that I've been working on into one thing that I've got all the leaders from the Kringle Society that I've been working with for years. They're excited to participate, and we've reached 85 million people in the world that knew about TBC coin. So they're not all validated members, but that was the reach, which is actually bigger than Bitcoin in a way. But this is an incredible time to basically really create a new path forward, and that's what I'm focused on, and doing that for that. And there will be a way to, for everyone to participate and make money with it, even in the where it's the things going in the world. This will be a way in which it's still, without me, saying everything right now, because I don't want to leak out too much information. But it is meant for this time, the way I see it.
I agree. Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, not really in the cryptocurrency part of it, and obviously, but but I think there's a purpose for it, and and I think it's smart that you're kind of exposing that this, these claims that people are getting. Nobody talked about the quantum system before we did. Nobody talked about,
Oh yeah, the Earth dollar. I don't think I mentioned it, but the Earth dollar was going to be run by the their quantum AI blockchain, which there is no white paper for and anything else. So a lot of this stuff is like, where is it? What do they actually have something? I don't think they do. I think that someone said they do.
Anybody who says they have a quantum system blockchain isn't, there's not a need for a blockchain, in the quantum system per se, because it tracks things its own way, and it's instantaneous, so there's no need to track it through different channels, because it goes from the source to the source, right? And then it's and then what you do with your money, you do with your money. Right. So that's a goal. Yeah, excuse me. I was at the BMX track today with my son, right? So my son, he's trying to ride his bikes, and we went this pretty hardcore BMX racetrack today. We were racing around. So I'm I'm one of those dads who I get involved in everything my sons are doing, and I make sure stay fit enough that I can do it, better than them as long as I can. so I got.
Well, I would still get into the ball cage with the kids, even to this day. I'll jump into the same ball, giant vat of balls, and dive down and become up like a shark and chase the kids around.
Yeah.
I'll participate. I think it's it's part of you know I think being good parenting is to participate, and dads need to play with their kids.
It's amazing. I've always been like, on the playground playing with my kids. And there's never dads there that want to play. I mean, not that I want to play with the dads. But I'm saying like the dads just don't. It doesn't occur to them that they can play with the kids. And now it's actually awkward. My daughter's at the same age where she's really into, always wants to play with her. And but now it's like there's such a weird vibe because everybody's all skeeved out because of pedophiles.
Oh yeah, I know. That's the real sad part is that people freak out about then people like, oh, why is he playing with kids? And that's
Right.
that's a real tragedy about this. One of my favorite games on the playground, right? Is there's always where the swing set is or whatever. Just the sand that's there, especially in California, it's mostly have sand there. But it'll say, okay, all the sand is now lava. You can't
Right,
touch
Lava
it.
Man.
You can't
It's called
touch
Lava Man. Sure. Yeah, I always play that.
you can't. So you got to run around and whoever's it, you just can't touch the ground, right? You got to like maneuver, stay on the edge of the fort, hang off the side, crawl around, but you just can't touch the ground.
Sure, totally.
One of my favorite games.
Oh, mine too. I play Lava Man with my kids. I'm always the Lava Man, and I am like, I get on the playground like I'm doing parkour, right? Like I'm jumping, it's like, obviously I'm bigger than them, right? So I can like jump all the way up to the top of the things where they are, and
Yeah.
I'm hardcore, man.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's fun, right? Because you're the other, what I often play is the almost like Frankenstein's monster here in the villages in the Philippines. If I'm walking through really, you're really out in the province area and you're walking through a village area. First of all, you're a big white guy, right? And that's the Jolly Green Giant. There's no difference, So you walk through and the kids are just going to run. So if you just like make a slight jaunt, like you're going to head towards them, they'll run off screaming, right? So
Right.
and then occasionally just take a few more steps, and then they all start off in a big gate, running away, and they all and then a bigger crowd of them comes back, right? So they get attracted because then it's a big game. The game is on.
Yeah, I love it.
But then if you actually catch them, they're horrified. It's like they stop laughing, and it's like, yeah, you can't really catch them. You guys just got to get up to it or to catch them, and then let them go. So, but and also one of the things that I've done here a lot is I used to dress up as Santa Claus and literally go with gifts in a big bag in candy canes, and they know it's Santa Claus, but they never see a Santa Claus out here. I mean, it's just something that's very, very rare. Okay. And, I'd even.
Yeah, I get it.
Anyway.
I get it. It is.
So, that's I think an important piece of is really to keep the mystery, keep the ability to imagine alive in kids, and that's part of the play. Lava Man, Frankenstein's monster, whatever it is, they need to be engaged and get their minds rolling.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about that. I mean, look, I'm really encouraged by this letter from last night, by the way, so that we can play with our kids more often. I was thinking, our kids measure love in time, right? And the amount of time that you're allowed to spend with your kids, especially when they're growing up, is, there's really nothing more valuable in almost your whole life, right? You know, you almost don't realize how. Yeah, I personally am very big on being in the moment. You know, with my children, and making sure that I'm present in everything they're doing, and I try to be as much as possible. But obviously, you know, sometimes I'm broadcasting, and my daughter comes in, and you know, it's like do the best I can, but you know, not always there. So, but I was just thinking about how liberating it will be to know that we're really grounded in working the exact purpose we were sent here for. And I was just thinking about this letter. It just so profound. This is 13 years ago. 13 years ago, right? That this was written. You know, Kim and I were talking about it this morning. And it's just kind of amazing that there's, they get this really, profound message. Like that letter was sent to the Blue Dragon, right? So I believe that's the head of the Blue Dragon family. I'm not sure exactly who that is. I do have a picture of this individual. My suspicion is that is Marduk, but maybe not.
You gonna show it?
I don't know. What?
You gonna show it?
No. That's Kim. Kim has given me a lot of things. We actually posted a picture of the dragon ring on the speakproject.net, and you can go there and see the actual, the ring.
The pyramid-looking ring with the eye.
No, it's it's like a pinky ring with like a dragon on the side of it and a blue stone in the middle. But I had that full, I have the full picture of that individual, but I wouldn't put it out because it's, because that's one of the few things Kim's ever asked me not to put out.
Okay. Yeah.
In general, Kim has a rule that if she gives it to me, it's okay to put out. But I check.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
But man, I would love to hear from people, on kind of their thoughts on this letter from last night. Maybe we should do a capstone on that sometime this week. Let people ask questions, and I did. Kim asked me, what I thought of the letter, and I shared my thoughts, and she seemed to be able to read it. It's a pretty amazing thing. I think the opening of the letter by itself is pretty profound. So talking about the practice.
You're muffled. You're muffled.
Oh, sorry. Yep. It talks about unlocking the secrets, and basically says that, this is how you do it. And it's such a simple, perfect concept, right? It's thought, word, deed, right? It's the idea of the esoteric or the spiritual, right? It comes from within. This is like your personal thoughts, your personal ideas, your personal opinions on things that you have, right? Now, these things.
Oh, dang. Space Command to Galactic Unicorn. Space Command to Galactic Unicorn. Do you hear me? Well, you know what? I haven't been on the Speak Project website for quite a while, and I'm back here, and there is so much more here. I don't know where to go, how to find that ring. So I'll just share the site as we're waiting for Tank to reappear. Gotta pull this up one moment. This is showing that page. Oh, there we go. All right, so I'll line up a little bit better. Still not good. So one thing I got to do this back and forth with this site to get it to pop up correctly. All right, there we go. So we'll just do a quick tour here. Go back to the home page. And see the website content is...
Warning. The content I'm about to share is fact.
Oh.
It is not in line with the agenda portrayed through the mainstream narrative. You will not be able to verify this article through your typical Google search. The reality described herein will explain parts of the public illusion being portrayed in American politics.
There we go.
Just to give everybody an idea, this is the project, and the entire concept behind this is that we want to change the world. The world has been under a certain type of structure which has allowed very few people to really thrive and to prosper, while the rest of us, well, basically they do it at our expense. And our goal is to rejuvenate, revitalize the communities, the heart and soul of the human spirit, and give people the tools and the necessary information to do that. Now, obviously, we would much rather always spend our time talking about solutions to the various problems, but first we have to identify what these problems are. And I am of the belief that we absolutely have to expose these things, no matter how hard they are to kind of digest for some of us. And with that in mind, we get all types of information. We have really amazing sources, and we do have ways to cut through those things. And Michelle Walker is really a champion for this. She's out there on the front line, 5'4" and furious, right, unrelenting, which I think is really what it takes, because the actual strength of someone's spirit really has no limitation. And she's a great example of that, and I'm excited to give her a chance to talk about that, and I'm in full support of getting her message out there and sharing these things so everybody knows what's really going on behind the scenes. Now, I want to point this out. My goal is always to make you care about yourself, really about the world you live in, because the enemy is not even the ones we're talking about. It's not the order, the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminati, the secret societies, whatever you want to call them. Believe it or not, they are not the enemy. The real enemy is indifference. It is apathy. It is people are walking around in this world today and every day completely oblivious, and they have tapped out. They just are used to being entertained. They spend a majority of their days and nights being entertained, and this is setting up a program that everything is okay. But there's a reality going on here, and we're going to talk about today, and Michelle Walker is going to blow our minds as she always does. So, Michelle, are you on the call?
Well, it's not there. Are you back, Tank?
I'm here. Yes.
All right. Yeah, I just went to a review of the Speak Project website, and that started playing, so I was just letting it roll. I came here. I said, "Oh, let me go find that ring," right? And I got here. I said, "I don't know how to find it."
Oh yeah, I think there's a thing there that says pictures.
Gallery. Okay, I clicked on gallery right now.
Wow.
Yeah. No.
But anyway, so
yeah.
The idea in that first portion of that letter, which I highly recommend everybody goes to speakproject.net to read, is the idea of the esoteric coming from within, right? So the spiritual mysteries of the unknown, right? The unknown God, in the sense of there's an aspect or a idea of source that is unknowable, right? It is the all in all. It is the source, the substance, the limits, the bounds, the essence, the origin of all things, right? So in this, there's no way to get outside of that energy, to look back on it and say, it is just this, right? Or it is this. It is that type of substance. Now, you can compare that to your own thoughts, right? And then as your thoughts come into shape and form and you are thinking about something, those things are still unknown until you yourself make them known, right? So that is the esoteric that comes from within, right? You can also refer to that as your imagination, which is not, just a game that kids play, right? But that is the idea of, creating. Now, a nation, right, is when you have a group that gather together to form, one body, right? Now, so you have an image, nation, imagination, right? Now, when these things come together to form one body, you have these attributes that come together collectively and agree to manifest, so to speak, into the limits of that idea, right? Now, any idea you have immediately limits the unlimited source that you're drawing from, which is the unlimited potential of your own thoughts or source or God or however you want to see that. Now, if you take that principle and you start to focus on it, right, and you now put it in shape and form in your mind, this is the esoteric that it's referring to. Now, the next piece, it says the spoken word, which and it says and it's there to expand, right? Now, so here's how the spoken word that you are speaking your original thoughts. So as you speak something into existence, right, and you're talking about it, what you're doing is you're taking your personal thoughts that no one knew, you're now putting them into a recognizable shape and form. You're using words to express yourself. Right now, it's not just words, because if you actually look in that letter later on, it talks about how they say one thing with their mouth, right, with their words, as if the author could not hear them, right? And the author says, but I can hear you, your intent, and it's evil, right? And you're looking to steal these things and keep them for yourselves, not to do the right thing, no matter what your words say. So he's talking about hearing their thoughts in the heart and the mind, right? So obviously there's a vibration and an energy that also would apply in the spoken word. So in this spoken word, right, as I describe something, whatever it is, what I do immediately by painting a picture with my words is I have now created an image that you are now putting into your own thoughts, right? So now I've expanded my thought by sharing it with you in the spoken word. And as you now put it in your mind, you expand the thought, right? And you draw it out, right? And then now you talk about it. Now you're doing the same thing, and we're being fruitful and multiplying. Now this is the spoken word. Now this is before anything tangible is coming to the flesh. It's just an idea, and we're talking about it, right? Now then it says the written word, which is subject to interpretation. Now once you bring it all the way down to the physical manifestation, so to speak, this will be likened unto the written word. Now, when you take the time to take your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to mention something. You're talking about that when you do written word, then it's subject to interpretation. But I think even when you do the spoken word, it's also subject to interpretation, and it requires a restatement of those words in, let's just say, in ways to get the communication across to the other party, and then they feed back information to you, and then you change your way you state it, the vibration slightly, to kind of get in synchronicity with the other party. So so it's after that initial back and forth that the clarity comes from the image that's formed.
Sure, absolutely.
Right.
So, and that's why, but I'm just using the language that was actually written in the document. But I'm just kind of piecing it together because it talks about this as the mystery that unlocks everything, right? The esoteric, the secret to everything, right? So, if you look at the spoken word being this verbal declaration, right? This description and really still a metaphysical, right? Metaphysical in the sense that it's not something you put your hands on, right? It's just something we're talking about. It's an idea. And you're right. We expand the idea, and in this, we connect ourselves. Now, even though we're different, we're individuals, we take the same idea that started from one thought. Now we expanded it into verbalization, right? Or some other method of communication through vibration and frequency. Now you share the same thought. Now we're connected in agreement of what this is, but we're both interpreting it differently. You're absolutely right. Now, but we're expanding our collective energy, right? Now we expand that to say 100 people. Now we agree, let's put this in writing, right? So now we go and we write down the idea and we draw it out and we tighten it up, right? Now, even though we put it in writing and we tighten it up, we have a more complete concept that started with this one thought, expanded from the verbalization. Now it's connecting all of us. Now we are all different and individual. We all have different experiences, different lives, different responsibilities, but yet and still we are one body operating, right? And we put it in writing. Now we put it in writing, we're very clear on what we want to accomplish and what we want to do. But that writing, as we send it out, we subject it to the interpretation of everyone else who reads it.
You got muffled again.
sorry, we subject it to that interpretation as it goes out. Everyone who reads it has their own interpretation, their own vision of what that document means, right?
Right.
And in this, though, if you look at the principle, is you're taking it from the abstract,
Right.
Metaphysical, into the concrete or into the third dimension,
which that physical representation, those letters and words sitting there on a page, continue to vibrate that information. It's then locked in stone, but on paper. But they can also put it on stone, which locks it in for a longer period of time. So that's where that continues to vibrate, right? That's why the written word is so powerful, because once you have that sitting there and vibrating, it just lasts, right? And people can go back and reference it and get in sync with the original words.
Right on. Absolutely. So now this process, now if you look at that now, if the writing, so to speak, is just, these are all just symbols, right? These are not the absolute. These are just words which are all, subject to interpretation, which is exactly what we're doing now. And in this, how we bring that, but it really is how everything gets brought into life, right? And this is a process. Now, as this expands the universe, inevitably the universe will bring you the people, the qualities, the attributes, the substance, everything you need, right? Now, that's why it is so essential for us to take this abstract concept of we want to change the world, a very generic statement, right? Now, what has been done to us masterfully is the order has controlled the message so much, and they've used a very simple technique of rote repetition. You repeat something over and over and over and over again. Then what happens, the collective they don't expand on the verbalization. What they do instead is they accept the verbalization, right? So they're trying to limit what is possible for humanity and really for God or source, right? So that's what they've done. Now, we don't want to do that, right? We don't want to just repeat things rote in that kind of way. However, we want to be clear that every time we talk about something that we're expanding it, right? And then also giving others the freedom and the power to do the same, to take the ideas and let's expand on it, right? That's why we're talking about things like, when we had the gentleman call and he has this herbal remedy that treats, cancer and AIDS, and another one that treats cardiovascular disease, right? As he talks about those things, he first of all put out where he tested it, right? So he put out a verbalization of what he's already put it into action. Now we're actually taking it back into the spirit and the metaphysical and saying, well, what else can it do, right? And now we're taking that same product and saying, okay, now let's make this available to some people, and let's make no claims on it whatsoever. Let's just allow it to dictate to us what it's going to be. Now we have literally brought something into manifestation that we know has the obvious potential and the evidence that it can do one thing, and now we're literally putting it in the hands of the universe to show us what else can it do, just by our intention and our desire to want to be healed, to want to be better, to want to be at our best, to want to be clear-minded, to want to be able to affect others and impact others and heal others and make other people's lives better. Now, all that is just manifestation. And every time we do one of these calls and participate and watch any kind of show, get wrapped up in any kind of worry or any kind of excitement, we're always manifesting, creating the world that we live in.
Right.
And I just thought that was a profound way to start any document, because you really set the tone, don't you? It's like,
right.
This is what we're talking about, right?
Right. It's like whenever I'm writing something, I'm going to do like a first draft, right, and then see is the tone what I'm really looking to present? Is this really the idea that I want to get across? And it sometimes takes 2 or 3 drafts to get to it, so you clear your thoughts and make sure that the right imagery is presented to the people, right? And that's kind of what I would call marketing, right? It's the resonating with the people that you want your target market.
Right.
so it's like when I was like reading this Earth dollar coin, right? Document. I said, well, I know what imagery I'm seeing here is not you know, it's reminding me of a Kingdom of Mana.
Oh, right, absolutely.
Right. So I'm saying because they're already talking about tribal that have already accepted this, and I'm just wondering, is there actually a connection? I haven't seen the word Kingdom of Mana pop up anywhere, but it does have that vibration, right? Tune in your ear to a particular vibration. That's why I want to take what they're doing there and flip it around and change the vibration of it. And that's what I was talking with Tank about before getting on. I said, this I don't it's like it's not a humanitarian project. It's a human empowerment project. It's not about just gifting, which is what they're talking about, gifting money, right? Which doesn't teach people to fish, right? It's giving them the fish, right? And then when that fish is gone, they're hungry again. So teaching the people to participate and be responsible. Not let the system be responsible. Have the individuals be responsible.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so all of this, long story short, is very exciting and encouraging, and that letter. I appreciate that we got to put it out. It was actually a reference to putting that out and sharing it amongst yourselves and talking about it. Now that is a letter that obviously was written to the Dragon families. That are part of that. And it was originally given to the Blue Dragon, like I said. But
and only one response. There was only one response.
Right, there was only one response. Right.
And
to the 5 questions.
Do we know what color? What camp were they?
The Blue Dragon responded with the Lazarus plan.
Oh.
Now, anybody who doesn't know, Lazarus is, the disciple of Jesus who he fell ill, and the family sent word to the Messiah and said, Lazarus is ill, and the Messiah loved Lazarus, and so the disciples were like, let's go, and he was like, let's wait. So he waited like 3 days, and then he gets there, he's already dead, right? And he's wrapped in the shroud of like when they wrap people up when they die, and they were mad at him that he was dead. So he raised him from the dead, right? Well, that's not why he raised him from the dead. He actually cried because they didn't realize who he was. Then he raised him from the dead, right? Now, so the Lazarus Project, I would have to believe that whatever the Blue Dragon or whoever that was submitted. Probably had something to do with letting all of us die off and then raising us from the dead, or raising, himself from the dead. Who knows? Some lame version of,
zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, some version of the zombie apocalypse, right? So, I just find all this stuff to be just fascinating. That, it really speaks to. And then if you read the letter, at one point the author says that at one point I was in 7 meetings at the same time, and you still didn't know who I was. Mm-hmm. I was like, damn. So I mean, it's really written from a God perspective, and nothing else. And it's, I believe Kim said it was from the council, but there's many galactic councils, so I don't know. It sounds to me like some kind of divine council. But there was an email. You can just email that.
Yeah, there's an email return email for the Galactic Council, or whatever the council that was. Yeah, so
you know what? 1 Timothy 3:16, great is the mystery of righteousness. God was manifested in flesh. So maybe.
There's God's email right over here.
No, who knew it would be so simple? Who knew he had a Yahoo?
Yeah. God at heaven Yahoo.com.
Right. Yahweh.com, like a
Yahweh.com. Pretty fun. Now, we're not being blasphemous, you know.
No. Just saying. So, anyways,
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things in that I couldn't stop reading. There's so many amazing pieces to it, you know.
Yeah. Well, so we ask another, typical question. So, what's going on with Kim today? Any breakthroughs?
You know, Kim did tell me, she said, over 10 years have gone by now, and one, they still keep up the illusion that they didn't get fired. But they did get fired, just for the record, everybody out there. This letter, this is them, their acts, they're done. In 2012, they were out of there. Because,
So it's kind of like the people that were evicted from their homes, right? And the sheriff comes to the door and gives them some paperwork and say, you got to leave. And they just don't leave.
Right. Because everybody believes them, right? And then number two, they're still blocking humanity from receiving wealth. Now think about this. This is a fact. I mean, there is nobody. I know for a fact I have been on the phone with a dozen banks when transfers went through and cleared. I know my own bankers told me when transfers cleared my account, right? And lo and behold, they found some way at that time to reroute those transfers, right? And they put them somewhere else. And they, because any money that came in that actually reached the people, they saw it as the reality of the cataclysmic downfall of everything, that they are, which is corrupt, evil personified, right? Because in their, and it's amazing because if you listen to it, you can tell there was a time, right, when they clearly had answered to a higher calling, right? And because they, what they were doing would appear that, they were given more information. Now, what I also loved is that the ones who were chosen, right, they thought we were chosen. So they went to go and mess everything up, right? And they took their privilege and they took it and abused it, right? And they made it something that was evil. Now, when you're given privileges, right, you're given access to things, what you should do with it is use it for the intent that, the individual who gave you the privilege in the first place wanted to use for, right? I think about this all the time with Kim. I'm always doing my best to make sure I'm in agreement and in alignment with what she's doing, because I trust that she, one, that she has a higher perspective, but two, I've seen enough from her that I know her intent is to empower humanity. So, you know what? Like she gives me a platform to speak my mind. She allows me to disagree with her. She allows me to give my opinions, and she makes adjustments when I have a good idea. So I appreciate that, right? She's given me a chance to be part of the process. Now, that's what I asked for years ago. When anybody heard me going off about the RV, I was like, what? How the hell can you keep making these decisions about us, but we're not included? The people need to have a voice. Right. Why don't the people have a voice? Why don't we have a seat at the table? Because you can't tell me that all these people at these higher levels with no experience anymore or even connection to what it means to go through this struggle, because they've had all this information. Right. They don't know what it's like to grow up figuring out who you are just to realize that you're a slave, right? Because they treat themselves like they're above it. So now, the point is, when you're given a privilege, right? Now, we talk about this with the laws, right? There's a difference between a right and a privilege. Ron Davis talked about this the other night, nailing it down. Said there's a difference between rights and privileges. Rights are yours. Privileges are given to you. You don't have to have them. Right. Now, this information has been a privilege. These individuals, they have lived a privileged lifestyle, right? And they thought that made them elite. Now, if I know everything that's about to happen, right? And I come in and I know everything that's about to happen. And instead of just saying, well, look, this was given to me, it's not something I'm it's not because, I'm a superhero. This was all given to me, and I'm just telling you. But instead, I portray it as if, I'm some mystic psychic and I have superpowers, and I use it as leverage to enslave you.
Right.
Well, that wasn't the intent, right?
Right.
So that's why even with this letter, right? Like, I suppose, I could have kept this letter and, dropped secret knowledge and just tried to portray it like it was my own, but that's not what the letter said to do. The letter said to share it, right? Put it out so that people know. And I asked him, I said, I just want to be clear. I'm like, I can put this out. And she said, yes. Because the whole point is to remind those in the order, look, you were given a warning. You were given a warning. You were told your time was short. You were told to comply. You were told what all the steps, all the options that you had were, right? And then they talk about now those that are chosen, right? It's not because we selected you and now you can do whatever you want, act like animals, it's fine. You're still going to heaven. No. It said you gave up because you failed at your mission. Then you went and sat in the waiting room, and then worse than that, you brought everybody else in the damn waiting room with you, telling you, "Oh no, don't worry, I'm in." I know the boss, right? And it's really important, right? And
That sounds about right.
Right, and then what did you do with it? Nothing. You made everybody else sit in the waiting room with you. You tried to replace, God or the source with some dumbed down, basic version of God.
Hey, look, I got AI on my cell phone. This is our new God. Just while we're sitting here, let's play a game on the quantum net.
Right, some dumbed down, simpleton version of AI, right? Now, Dan, have you? I don't want to get off track, but the point is that's what they did with it, right? They abused their privilege. And because they abuse their privilege, they no longer have it. So the kingdom, so to speak, right, or the inheritance, or the responsibility to restore and revitalize humanity, to restore and revitalize the planet, now belongs to those who are willing to step up and take those positions and take the responsibility within the guidelines, the intent, and the reality that exists with natural law. Because guess what? Natural law works whether you like it or not, whether you acknowledge it or not. You don't get to defy natural law without damaging it. You just don't. That's the way it is. So I look at that and I'm always doing all I can to be in harmony and in agreement with that. Now, this is talked about all the time. Now, you can see this. I always think the physical body is the best example you can use. If you want to understand God, get to know your physical body. Now, for example, if you look at your physical body, this is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that if your spine is in alignment, right? So you have the first 7 bones of your spine referred to as the arc of life, right? And then you have 63 vertebrae in total. Now, when you look at that and all of these, they are in alignment, right? And everything's communicating. So now you have your brain being like this shape, this cloudy substance, right? Now, clouds by nature are not a definable shape and form, right? They can be anything, right? They can look like a rabbit one day or just a big lump of clay, right? And it can be anything. Now, your brain really doesn't have a shape and a form per se if it didn't have your skull. It just fills out your skull. Right. So it's this cloudy substance, and also we already talked about how you have your thoughts there. So you have this abstract state within your brain. Now, your brain substance travels all the way down your spine, then travels out through your nervous system to connect every part of your body back to the source of your brain. Now, from that substance, you can appreciate if a tiny little pinch of your nervous system, because of a slight misalignment with your spine, and you could have cardiovascular disease, diabetes, you could have all types of problems, ailments in your body, just from your spine being slightly out of line, because you're not in line with the head, right? So this principle, you can see it's the same. It's part of the reason why we struggle so much to manifest things into existence. Because if we're going to manifest something into existence, it can't just be some selfish thing that we want to happen. It really is, we're manifesting in agreement, right, with the universe, so to speak. We're aligning with it. And in that alignment, we'll know because it'll feel natural. It naturally comes to us. Things will naturally fall into place because we're in alignment, right? Because even when you look at that, you have the brain, and you can look at that as heaven, so to speak, or where God lives, and it comes down into the flesh. Now, that's a principle that's been bastardized somewhat, right, and turned into something else, where people are supposed to bow down and worship. But that's not really what it is. It's really to let us know that God is within us.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just amazing to me. I mean, it's just amazing. And people, it's funny to me that people have a problem with it because I get that from the scriptures, from the Bible. Now, that's a universal principle, right? Because it doesn't matter what religion you are, at the end of the day, we all, whatever we call God or however we perceive, source to be, we all recognize we're alive, right? Like, so if you don't have a physical body, you can deny it. But as long as you have a physical body, you can. Because that just is how your body works.
I don't agree with my physical body.
Yeah.
I think it's actually much lighter than it actually is.
Yeah. I have that argument with my body sometimes too.
Yeah. Well, I do. I did have that experience when I was doing a lot of yoga where my weight was changing dramatically moment by moment on the scale, and I had to, I was literally floating around on energy, right? And I was lighter. I physically was lighter. I thought the scale was broken or got on and off like 4 times. This is like a 30-pound, change in weight. It was dramatic. Each time on and off, and it was all over the place. And my daughter got on the scale, and her weight was consistent. So it was very, very odd. But so my mind was not in agreement with what my body's weight was, or it was in agreement. It just changed the weight of my body. That might be a better way of putting it.
Right.
I was just elated and floating on cloud 9.
Yep. Indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed. So, but anyway, so this, this document basically, it calls them out, but now, on another note, it talks about, now, all that you were here to do was to protect, the people, so to speak, right? You were here to protect the treasures. Now, so you're here to protect the treasures from those who are trying to keep them from, right? Mm-hmm. So now, the things that you have here now, right? These aren't galactics. These are people who were influenced by galactics, but they were put in place, at least, their ancestors at some point, right? So now these are ancestors. They were put in place by Source, right? And they were put in place to protect the treasures of the earth. Now, we can argue about what the treasures are, but in my opinion, there is no greater treasure than humanity. There's nothing. Because within humanity exists all the potential for everything else. Now, if you valued that the divine substance of God, of Source, of the universe, the spark of life is put in humanity, and the charge, the very first commandment ever given, as far as the scriptures historically say, the first charge was, be fruitful and multiply. Now, people don't realize this, for the most part, because what we imagine is that God's there, and Adam and Eve are standing there looking at him, not knowing what to do, and he says, be fruitful and multiply. Kids, go have fun. But the reality is that Eve, she was still um, she didn't exist yet. It was just Adam.
Mm-hmm.
So Adam was the all in all, right? He was the masculine and feminine. He was the embodiment of that, the completeness of God by himself, and was told to be fruitful and multiply. Then, then he takes Eve out, right? Then it changes. That's what's amazing. And now, so if you take that principle up to the current time we're in, right? Well, you basically have this opportunity. What should we be doing? What about we're fruitful and multiply the way we think, and the qualities about ourselves that we ourselves admire, the things about ourselves that we love about ourselves, and not in a vain way, but we love them because we recognize that these are in agreement and in harmony with natural law or the source or the universe, and we multiply those things, right? Things that are natural to human beings are love. Things that are natural to human beings are kindness. What is natural to us is to help one another. These are all things that are natural to us. You know, this is who we are all the time. And if we're just honest with ourselves about it, we realize you can't even deny that. Because one thing we all desire, we all want to be able to trust each other. You know, and it's a miserable state of existence that the owner has created for themselves. They've adopted principles of a foreign group that came in, and all they knew how to do was to dominate and control, right? All they knew how to do was control. And they adopted those attributes as if they were their own. But the reality is they're still people. In the midst of all that darkness and all the evil control and power and hedonism they benefited from, they didn't benefit in any way, really. They've been suffering miserable lives because all they've done is just pursued, devoured, tried to get ahead, cheated, steal, killed, stole, but that's a miserable way to live for anybody. Now, that doesn't mean that we should all, just be poor and living in commune. It means there is so much substance and abundance for this life, the very essence of who we are. If we were,
Exactly. I think we're just experiencing some glimpses of what we could possibly have. Because this idea of the scarcity mindset, the idea of the people that are always out there to get you as opposed to help you. Once those things are reversed, and it is only a matter that the system that we're placed in is promoting that. Right? It's designed by another group, right? That was all into that, so that's their thing. But that's not our nature. We know that it's not natural for us. We know when we're with our families, right, and how we treat one another in a family. We want to do, the best for our families, and we have a natural inclination to save our children, right, and help our children, and do the best for our children. So these things are what will naturally come about as the system changes. And that's what we got to do. We have to make those steps to change the system, and it takes us making the steps, helping one another, taking the what our talents are, and putting them to use. If your talent is being on a broadcast, do a broadcast. If your talent is, organizing, organize. If your talent is writing, write. Whatever you can do. If it's just, helping people out in the neighborhood, that's fine. Do it. Don't expect anything in return. That's the other part of this existing system. It's a trade.
I don't know. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
I don't know why people say that. Everything has a return.
I said don't expect. I said don't expect something. If you do it with expectation, right, then that's where the problem, I think, comes in. It's not that you don't get a return. You get tremendous returns from it. You get it, you know, in energy. You get it in manifesting. You know, but it's not about you know, if you do the trade, right? It's this for that. You're back in the Babylonian system, right? And it's okay to have a trade, and it's okay to, you know, have a medium of exchange, but there are certain things that are at the core of those things. So like the medium of exchange, if you start, you know, having no value behind it, and it doesn't represent your effort, you know, that you put into it, your energy that you put in, because, you know, it's like an interest is added, you know, if or, you know, if there's a you know, for example, that's another interest thing, but, you know, mortgages where they you know, they front load all of this interest from 20 years into the first 5 years. You got to pay all of this heavy interest, and then you not even start paying down the principal. Those type of things come out of the energy behind that type of a system. So if you don't have, if you are expecting some, you know, helping people, you know, just really out of the goodness of your heart, you get a return. But it's not about, you know, I'll help you, but you got to help me here. It's okay to do that, but if that is the whole system, then you're only left with when you don't have anything to give, then you're in the slavery system. That's the point.
Right, and I look at it like this, like, you know, this is not a quid pro quo. Like, I'll help you if, right? But there's an expectation, right, that it's not that you have to help somebody. If you are in a position where helping someone is your natural desire, and you have the means to do it, then you don't have to, you get to. See, it's not a burden, right? It's a privilege. We get to help each other, and it's one of the most rewarding ways to live. We get to help each other, and you know what? You can expect to feel good about it. As a matter of fact,
that's okay to expect yourself from yourself that you're expected to feel good. That's a good expectation.
Right. You know, you should expect that, you know, and not only that, when you do it, when you help somebody, if it's not from a place of you want to do it, don't ever do it against your will. Right. There is nothing worse than somebody helping you against their will, right? They complain the whole time. They remind you at every Thanksgiving dinner. Like, remember that one time I did this? Like, don't be that person. Right?
Don't be that guy.
Do things from a willing place of the heart. Build from that place, and we cannot go wrong. And you don't have to help everybody. But when you feel the desire, be obedient to it. Because it's a much better and more powerful place to live from. To build from a place of true love. Right? Now, true love is sometimes a generic term that we use, you know, like from The Princess Bride, to describe just the one individual that we fall in love with. But you know, you have true love for your children. True love. There's nothing you wouldn't do for your child. True love for your parents. You know, you have true love for people sometimes on a lower level, but it's still true love. Like the respect you have for me personally. I genuinely appreciate President Trump and what he's doing. I genuinely do. And I appreciate that somebody had the courage to stand up and do it in his position. Now, it doesn't mean we haven't done plenty of things just as courageous on the lower level, but we didn't have the stretch or the platform to reach out the way that he did.
Right.
But in this world of, you know, catastrophic billionaire losers, you know, that keep secrets of pedophiles and monsters, you know, so they can maintain their status quo. You know what? Somewhere in the midst of that, this one man found a way to beat all the systems.
Yeah.
I mean,
by the way, I've got that letter that you have for Trump queued up. So if you want to go into that, sometime we can do it.
Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. Give me a minute on that, and I don't know. It's personal to me, so I'm going to read it. I'll read it. You know, for anybody who doesn't know, I wrote a letter to President Trump directly. I'm actually, Sidori is kind of the boss, right? So she basically, I put the letter up, and she wanted to put it out right away. Now, I'm not one to question Sid because she's usually right, at least almost every time that I've known. So she wanted to put it out there to have an impact, and so she did. But I am actually sending that letter with the appropriate letterhead and whatnot and signatures. And I'm sending a certified mail, so it comes to the White House, in a way that has to be at least read, by somebody who's there. And I would imagine that, I hope, anyways, that President Trump actually gets it, and hopefully, hopefully it encourages him the way he's encouraged us. So let me just pull over, man. I'll read this, kind of driving at the moment. Yeah. So, all right. So here's the letter. Now this is in part to announce what we are doing on the ground level, and that's been the theme of a lot of where we're at, is to break through this this whole system, and it takes more than just fancy words, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
We got to actually take action. So
I do have it up and running, showing. So.
Yep, I got it right now. I'll start reading. So the way it reads is like this. Dear Mr. President, I initially started writing this letter to inform you of the Create Change Network and its efforts in conjunction with the National Liberty Alliance to reinstate and revitalize constitutional law as the law of the land. The American government is, and always has been, uniquely designed to draw its power from the government, so as to control the influence of corruption and to keep it from commanding more respect than the voice of the American people. We aim to identify and strengthen that power, which is inherent in our Constitution and ourselves. In writing this, I realized the irony in even an outspoken constitutional adherent like myself suddenly feeling so bold as to attempt to inform the President of the United States of what is transpiring in the government's ground level. I have never known a leader to engender so much empowerment as you, Mr. President. Thanks to you, those committed to upholding the promise and purest intent of our nation are being inspired to become actively involved in our nation's politics. As deep state leaders continue to promote an anti-human and anti-American agenda, and their hateful attacks on you grow, your steadfast refusal to go along with pre-established, quote, presidential norms serve to inspire and impress. Rather than cave to the threats and pressure by conforming to long-standing practices of unethical compromises made at the expense of the people, you've held your ground advocating for the best interests of Americans, unapologetically revealing the ugly truth of past administrations, the malpractice of our legal system, and the malicious nature of our global economic policies. Recently, Senator Joe Biden posted a picture of himself with former President Barack Obama with the caption, quote, I remember when we had a president we could look up to. I couldn't help but imagine a crowd of Americans on our knees with our faces in the dirt, bowing to a force so seemingly superior to us that we had no choice but to look up to it. And in this sense, giving it power. From this weakened, submissive position, we began to believe we were not entitled to speak up. We began to believe that we were responsible for the harmful actions of others and willingly bore the guilt and shame of their sins. We began to aspire to maintain the status quo rather than grow the courage to pursue our dreams. We were on track to enslaving ourselves as servants to not just mediocrity and debtors, but to squatting imposters imposing their will by controlling the message. Then, you stood up. As you looked our oppressor in the eye, face to face, we realized how small we were. This single act gave us the courage to stand with you. You have never exalted yourself above the people. We recognize you as a fellow American, entrenched in the same battle and drawing a line that cannot be crossed. For the very reason they hate you, we love you. As the fourth arm of the Republic, The people are responsible to ensure that our unalienable rights remain unhindered and rightfully protected by the law of the land. The government only possesses the powers given to it by the Constitution as dictated by the American people. We, the people, are grateful to be of service and support to a true presidential leader who considers himself one of us. In support of the executive orders you've set in place, the promises you've already kept, and the promises you're working daily to fulfill, we stand united with every county in the nation having voted to reinstate the common law courts to ensure justice is served and the constitutional rights of the people are protected. We promise to show our gratitude to the power and demonstration of our actions, remaining fearless and incorruptible to revitalize the American spirit, the integrity of the Constitution, and by bearing witness to the powerful truth of what it means to be born free on a land that guarantees our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Mr. President, thank you for not going quietly into the night. We stand with you. Sincerely, Stephen Ross.
Excellent letter. Bravo. My compliments to the author.
He's a dick. Sorry. Sorry, I can't say that on air. I apologize.
Oh, and
yeah, but
no, it was it was a really good, well written letter. I fully appreciate you for doing it, and I'd like to do anything I can to help move the common law courts forward, because this is one of the main areas that they've been able to maintain control that makes us feel helpless. Because even if we rise up against like some law that they put, some statute that they put in front of us, the courts always are even if they somewhat listen, because we're too many of us complaining, because that's their criteria. If too many people complain, they back off and they wait and they slip it through a little bit later, right? And they keep moving us down this way, and they're very crafty at it, right? But the court system is where they've positioned themselves into these little fiefdoms, and they have no rights to those to be in that position. Right? It is not legitimate. It's a maritime, court should be on a ship. Put them out on a boat. Put them in the water.
Yep. Very true.
I think that's one of the things that really needs to be done, is put them out on the water. And when people are wondering why they're going out onto a boat to get into court, they'll figure it out. It's like, why are we all standing in line here at the dock? I got a speeding ticket. Well, you got to go pay the maritime fee. Settle your commercial commerce for moving cargo. Who's the cargo? Well, you are.
Yeah. Right on.
But this is what it takes to wake up people, get them to do something that they're out of their comfort zone. They know what it is to go down to the court and pay the traffic ticket or the parking fine, it just...
Well, you know what, comes right down to it, there is something that's been missing with every time. Now, I don't even really like the term per se, common law, because where's the book of common law, right? We call it that, but in my opinion, it was probably perverted to make us all feel common, right? Now, then you have natural law. Now, natural law, we can draw on various theories of that, but there's really nothing recognized. So what we're doing is we're implementing not implementing, it's always been. We're reminding the American people that we are always under constitutional law as set and established and enforced by the Supreme Court. That is the mission. Now, if you don't know what that means, you need to go and read the Constitution and get used to it and understand it, and then get involved. Now, we are about to launch a updated sites. You know, we're working with the National Liberty Alliance to actually create a more robust and coherent website for them. And we are going to make it possible for everybody, everywhere in the country, to get involved and be an administrator. We're going to propose this two mana, right? Which I know that this is something Kim wants us to do anyways. And we're going to get this funded so that we have these 4 administrative positions that will be full-time jobs. That means in this one fell swoop, we will create 15,000 jobs all over the country instantaneously, right? That's an amazing thing. Now, not only that, but we already have the lawful pressure being put on and the documents being filed to actually get paid as administrators by the counties and the Department of Justice, because this actually falls under their budget. But even if they don't come through, we are not waiting. We will get this funding and get people paid. And we have to do this in force. We need as many people up and running. Listen, able-bodied, halfway intelligent, if you're listening to this program, you ought to be looking in your county to find out how you can get involved. Now, if you are the cabal and you want to, because we know this, right? That the order, they'll infiltrate things and they'll get in there. Go ahead. Go right ahead. You can go ahead and try to get in there and you can do it. You can change the direction that you're going in, because I'm not afraid of people coming in and spitting off a bunch of garbage and trying to deceive the masses from within. You will never, never have a voice stronger than ours. Never. Never again. That'll never happen. So please, feel free. And a matter of fact, I hope you repent and you come on board. You're welcome. So tell your friends and your enemies, because everybody has a grievance that they would like to file. Shouldn't they have a way to do it that they don't have to worry about getting harassed and arrested? That they shouldn't have to declare their sovereignty, which, by the way, you don't even have to declare. You were born in this land. If you're indigenous to America, you don't have to declare and go through a whole bunch of documentation to make yourself a target. You are indigenous. You were born in this country. You have rights. And that means every one of the babies that Planned Parenthood has killed off, they all have rights too. And the savages that had the nerve to kill those babies off, they are only slightly more guilty than all of us who have allowed them to do it. Now that's something that ought to motivate us a little bit. What you think?
Yeah, I'm motivated.
So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that you're going to work with them hand in hand on their website and help carry this forward. This letter also is going to go far as well. Just keep taking steps. That's what we got to do. We take our steps.
Now I will say this too, because I talked to Ron Davis. Now Ron Davis, has like a photographic memory of like music, right? So when it comes to the law, all he did was just translate that into kind of a musical pattern and rhythm. So he's got the same kind of photographic memory with all the things that he studied, right?
Oh.
Now he works with a lot of very prominent people. Now he's got a whole bunch of guys ready to go gonzo down there in Florida. They're gonna all file suits simultaneously, right? And I'll tell you, even with language. Now I want to be very clear. I know, to the common law, natural law, universal law, constitutional law experts out there, I am an insult to you. Please know this. I am not out here speaking, claiming to be an expert in these things. I know the things that I know, and I repeat them constantly and often, and I do my best to do it as accurately as possible. But I know out there for the language is very important to this effort.
Right.
And I am fully aware that you can do it better than I am. The problem is you're not. You're not. And because you're not, I'll keep doing it, and I'll put my name on it. If I can just get your support, I promise you, you will be successful. This is the time. This is endorsed by God, period. Which I'm not one to make those kind of claims, to be quite honest. Because both teams play to win the game, don't they?
What was that? You're mumbling. Muffled. What?
Both teams
Still can't get you.
play.
Still can't hear you.
What?
No. Your volume is low.
Yeah, this is. I'm in a
Better.
dead zone. Yeah,
A little
can you
better.
hear me now?
Yeah, there you go. That did it.
Okay. So what I'm saying is both teams, both sides, you know, pray to win the ball game. You know, you'll see both teams before the game praying to God they win. You know, how does God decide? You know, so it's not something that I say lightly. You know, but what I believe in my heart of hearts, right? There are certain times and certain things where you know that this is something that you are meant to do. Now, I'm not meant to be the next common law expert. That's not what I'm meant to do. But what I am, I know for a fact. I know this with every part of who I am. My job is to bring together the right people and do all I can to give them what they need to get the job done. And that's what I'm trying to do. Not trying. That's what I'm doing. Period. That's what my team is doing. Our team is doing, and collectively as humanity, if you are a human, look, you're part of the team, but you got to do your part. You know. So it's a collective effort, everybody. So please reach out, find a way to contribute. Give us probably another week, and we'll have very clear instructions for everybody to get involved. And the guys from the National Liberty Alliance are really wonderful human beings, man, and they're dedicated.
Yes.
And I'm just so impressed with the bank of knowledge and the patience that they put into this to find out over the past 20 years how to get through this, right? Now, and then, so we need that. We absolutely need people that are that thorough that can prep documents for us, right? And we got, the Yokoyama Legal, they've got, you know, a bunch of people that are working with them that are reaching out to the National Assembly, and they've got the, you know, bar attorney experience. So they know the pitfalls we're going to run into, issues that are, you know, coming up that can hinder us, right? So we got that covered. Then we got people like Ron Davis. Ron Davis, who was falsely accused, falsely convicted of a crime where he did not commit any crime, and he can prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. Because you can't mess with somebody like Ron Davis or Michelle Walker, right? These are people that take every single thing you say, and they take it to heart, those Miranda rights. Everything you say, see, this is what people don't realize sometimes about these Miranda rights. You know that goes both ways. Everything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Now, that applies to everybody who's ever taken action against the people, unlawfully putting them in positions and situations where they did not consider the power of the spirit of that individual. And the way that they treated that person was disrespectful to what God had done in that by giving that individual life. Now, we're all owed that respect. Now, so I'm just saying that's exciting. Because Ron Davis, man, those cats down there in Florida, you do not want to mess with them. I'm telling you, they are no joke. Now, they're down there harassing them and, you know, Ron's, you know, on the run and stuff. But I'm like, listen, we got you, man. We got pieces in place already. We got things. If anybody lays a hand on Ron Davis, believe me, every one of those cats, we got videos on everybody. Anyone who's going to try to mess with them down there in Florida, we got you covered. We got something on everybody. And for the most part, we put stuff out unless we think it will damage the collective population. But we make sure to keep these dead man triggers ready to go, especially for people we know that are fighting a good fight. And, you know, even according to the cabal's own rules, that if people are not taking money, not making money off this, he's not trying to make money off the people. He's just fighting for the people. You're not supposed to be able to do what they did. That's their own code. Mm-hmm. So, anyways, I'm fired up about that. And you know what? That's going to expand. Those words are going to expand. And there's other groups out there who I don't know all across the country. Please reach out to us. Go to speakproject.net, and you can just email, you know, right from there. You can contact us from there, and we will get back to you. You can go to gocamelot.com, and you can reach out there. Had a little bit of an issue with the website, but or the email that I messed up, but I fixed it now. I think. Yeah, I'm gonna check that, but and I'm sorry to my people, Nitra. Hey, like, sorry guys, I left them kind of hanging with that, not on purpose. But long story short, look, we've been able to come this far with nothing more than will. And I always reference this battle that gentleman, John, talked about, who came on the program that one night, and he was talking about the battle where the militia from Massachusetts beat the British back all the way to Boston. And that was impressive by itself to me. But then he said, and they never fired a shot. It was just the sheer will of free men standing together, saying, we will not allow you to take what we have fought so hard to take ownership of. We will not allow you to take the very essence of who we are. We stand, this is a line we will not cross, and that is what is happening right now. And that is what we have been doing as well. We have been beating them back. Not to Boston, though, whatever hole they call out of. We are beating them back. And just know that and be empowered by it. Please get involved. Don't be afraid anymore, because this is the time where change is possible, where anything is possible right now.
That is true. This is a time to take your steps. Get moving. What are you doing sitting there? Get up.
Take a nap. Get up tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, that's it. We got to keep going. All right. Well, we're good for today. What do you think?
Absolutely, man. Thanks so much, Dan. Appreciate it as always. And everybody out there, thanks for taking the time to listen.
Be sure to subscribe, like, good comments, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Cool again. All right. You're in the